sure you guys have all this ready and available. This is the tool list I sent you by email, or you saw this in the prep of the video. So make sure you've got the mannequin, the tripod, the clamp, or anything you need, clear elastics, bobby pins, product, notepad, smartphone, all charged up. And don't forget to bring your courage. So now what we have is the tips. So when you're doing updos and when you have brides, bridal parties and stuff like that, you want to know that you've got uh, everything you need ahead of time. Now, sometimes people will come in and they will have really dirty hair. And I don't quite know where this came from, but sometimes when they do that, there's, you get a little bit of anxiety, right? Because you'll run late. So part of setting you up for success is knowing that some of the experience that I've had, I want to pass along to you. Just a little bit about me. I'm a Redken artist. I love passing along things that I've learned from others and doing classes for hairstylists. And also I love to help others when it comes to like challenging things that happen in the salon, right? So my question for you is, how many of you feel a little bit of anxiety whenever you get a bridal party or a bride on your book? Like when you see that bride on your book, how does that feel, right? So I think that many of you, but just by survey in the past, have a little bit of that. So I just want to know when you guys are doing your prep for your bridal parties, that there is a few things that'll help you, right? I'm going to pass along some of my experience, like I said before, and I also want to make sure that you learn everything that you can from this. Now, what are you going to learn today? I think today we're going to keep it simple, learn 2 or 3 techniques depending on the time, and we're going to get to do some really simple techniques on our mannequins here, and I'm going to show you a few variations as well, and we'll be able to help you with all of your challenges in these couple of techniques. So hopefully this will be a great rewarding experience for you. Okay, so moving forward, your participation in the chat is going to be helpful. So if you have never used the chat bar before, I want you to go to the lower part on the left where it says chat and click on that, or it might be right in the center. Click on chat and the little chat box is going to come up. It's a little chat Zoom, and just kind of push it over to the side. Also, what we're going to do is make sure on the left side that you're muted, but your video is on. That way we can see what you're doing, or if you need any help coaching, or if you want to show, what's happening with your look while you're practicing, then I'll be able to see that for you. Okay, my dear. So now we're going to be moving forward and doing the next section. So you've got the tools, and you've got your tool list. The first one we're going to do is the pull through braid. So how many of you have ever tried this and not known where to begin? Go ahead and type something in the chat box and let me know if you have ever had challenges with knowing where to begin. I feel like with this one, this is probably one of the things that I struggled with the most when I first learned it. So I kind of want to show you where to begin. Sometimes, even if you know how to do this, it's the beginning and getting it going. Wouldn't you agree? So before I do any updo, there's a few things that I go through and in my mind and with the prep. So if a guest comes in and she makes an appointment for an updo, right? What I want to do is I want to talk to her about a few things first. So just to give you an idea, I kind of want to show you. So the first thing we're going to do is go through a really good consult. The consult's going to help lay out what exactly she wants to do, and it'll give me an idea of how to set it up. So that is really important. If you can do that on a virtual consultation on your phone, that would be awesome. If you could do it on a like a Skype or anything like that, like FaceTime, that would be really, really good. And then you're going to be able to set up your tools and get everything ready for when she comes in. Also, you'll be able to practice. If you see something that she asked for and you're not sure how to do it, you can get help, you can practice, and you can set it up early. And then after you execute and you go through it, then you want to make sure to always take photos, because I know for a lot of people, we forget the photos part, right? Because we get so excited when we're done with the look. But take pictures, because that'll really help you promote and also see your advancement and your improvements as you go, you know, especially in your career over time. So, okay, so now we'll move on to how to start this and how to pull it off and execute it really well. So just want to be able to see her really, really good here. So the way we're going to start this one is we're going to do, the first one's going to be, there gets me come. The first one's going to be, what we're going to do is take a triangle section right here. So if you guys have a mannequin and you're working right along, that's okay. Just go ahead and take a triangle section with the front of your mannequin's head right here. We'll just pull it back. If she has a side part, if your mannequin has a side part, that's okay. You should still be able to take a triangle section. And this one, what we're going to do is similar to the picture. We're going to do a faux hawk braid. So there we go. We've got this one here. So you've got a triangle section. What I want you to do is pull it back to the back part of the triangle, right about the top center of her head. At that point, what you'll be able to do is take one of your elastics. I use a clear elastic, and set it up like so. Okay, so simple ponytail, clear elastic, and you can kind of see it here where it sits right back in the center. What I'm going to do is I'm going to want to cover that elastic so it doesn't show, right? Especially if she's going to be going to a special occasion. And what I'll do is I'll take just the one piece, go all the way around and cover. But before this, because it's really hard to pin, there's a little trick. I want to show you the little trick. So if you take this little guy here, this is a regular large bobby pin, and I'm going to put that underneath the elastic. And what you'll see is that it has it like a little space there, right? So then what I do is I take the piece of hair, wrap it around the elastic, and again, the bobby pin's just kind of being held down in there. You can see it. And we'll cover up that elastic so it doesn't show. Now, what do you do with the tail, right? Because this is where people sometimes have problems. So what I do is I take a little hairpin and I put it into that little section, and then I pull the hair through the bobby pin. You see how I pulled that hair through the bobby pin? Then when I bring the bobby pin back through the elastic, it pulls that hair through. So then what you have is a covered ponytail. Makes it real simple, especially for the first one, because you don't want that to show the ponytail. Okay, so now what you have is you have one ponytail. What we're going to do is set that aside, and you can clip it forward if you want, if it gets out of your way easier. And then what you're going to do is take your next section from the left and next section from the right, and you're going to pull this back and make another ponytail right behind the first one. So you pull that together, as you can see here. And what you're going to do is you'll have two ponytails, one in front of the other. Now this one, you shouldn't have to necessarily cover it. It should be okay. And what you'll do is just make sure that your pieces are nice and clean and flat. Take your ponytail and pop in your elastic. So once you have this thing done, this is where the fun begins. And this is really the base to start it, is having these two ponytails to start. So now what we're going to do is here, you're going to see, we're going to pull this forward, right? We're going to open this right here. The front ponytail, split it, clip the back ponytail down forward, and then you have your two tails. What you'll do is you'll take from the right and take from the left, and you'll have a new ponytail. Again, this will be under the second one. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, right? After you pull together that hair, then what you'll do is you'll then make another ponytail. That's right, you got it. So what we have now is what looks like this. You see, we have this ponytail and 2 ponytails, you see, and then the other one wraps around. So I'm going to do it again so you can see, and this time I'll be able to do it from the back side so you'll get a better view. So what we'll do is we'll take the top ponytail, split it, feed the bottom ponytail through, and then take a section from the left and a section from the right. And again, we'll join those together and make another new ponytail. Just like the first ones. Okay. So once that's done, what do you think we're going to do? That's right. We're going to join in that hair with the center ponytail underneath. And then we're back to 2 ponytails. You see? So what do you think is the next step? That's right, split. Split that top ponytail. I clip the bottom ponytail towards the front, kind of out of the way. Now let me see how you guys are doing. For those of you that are doing something, let's check in. Looking good. Okay, so to continue, same sequence. Now, does anybody have any questions? Is anybody stuck, or how are you guys doing out there? So just type into the chat if you have a question, and then we can unmute you and have a chat about it or help you with any challenges. Otherwise, we'll keep going. So we're going to pull this down and forward, connect it to the center ponytail, and again, another elastic. So you see the pattern that's starting to happen here, right? You see the pattern for the pull-through braid. The fun in this, it really goes at the end when we start to bring it all out, pancake it out, make it really fluffy and puffy and full. That's when all the fun begins, right? So here, I'll be able to show you another one too, a modification with 2 braids. I did another one on a mannequin so you can kind of see. So again, we're going to split, lift, and combine. Okay, once this is done, when you don't have any more hair left, you'll do the same thing, same motions. You'll just split the ponytail on the top, right? You'll connect it underneath, but now there's no more hair to add in. So actually what you'll do is you'll just create a ponytail underneath with those 2 tails so that there's no loose hair hanging. Same thing here. I'll split the front, bring it to the back, create a ponytail until you get to the very ending. So once we're at the end, I'm just going to take a little bit of time here and just kind of pull some of this out. Now what I want to do is I want to pull this piece out from the bottom up. Now depending on how much hair you have, this can be easier or harder. And what I do sometimes I take the outside and I'll pull it out, right? But I'll take the inside and I'll squeeze that elastic to try to get it to go up in there and hide, right? So again, I'm pulling the outside out. See that there? And I'm pulling the inside in. And you'll see where it starts to take on some detail, right? So I pull the outside out and the inside I squish up, outside out, outside out, until you visually have the kind of look that you want. And by wrapping that first ponytail, it gives you a lot more finished look in the front, so you don't have like the ponytails showing. And if you have dark hair, hot tip is use the dark ponytail holders, the dark elastics, instead of the clear ones. I use clear hair because it just made more sense. Phew, excuse me. So here, once you feel like you've got like the pancaking that you want, a little bit more of a frothy look, right? We've got all these pieces here. There we go. And this is like a really fun Faux Hawk version of all of this. And the Faux Hawk version is nice because you can do it on any length of hair. And if you get some layers on here, what you want to do is, if you have somebody with layered hair, I would recommend curling their hair with a little bit of Wax Blast. Wax Blast is what I would use to curl hair, because if you curl it, they'll have just enough bend that'll kind of go in a little bit easier. But Wax Blast is a great hold for updos, and I love this. I use this quite a bit when I'm doing my curl work. And then at the end, if you want to secure it, you can leave it down, but if you want to secure it, what you can do is take the bottom, wrap it up, and then what you do is you take your pin, a long bobby pin, and what you'll do is you'll drive that up into some of the area in the center for security. And what I do is I take another bobby pin and I cross it, so I actually make an X. So up in there, I can feel where the one pin is. I take the other pin and crisscross over it so that I've got a little bit of an X and it's really supported in there. And then I'll take one of my favorite hairsprays ever is 32. This is triple take. This is probably my most used finishing spray in the salon. They have a fragrant, less fragrant version of this too, but I love the smell. So yeah, this just helps you like get the little flyaways sorted through. So you get the idea from this, like how it works. And here's a shot from the front, so you can kind of see the way it was finished with that front. It gives it a little bit more of an interesting piece, right? Instead of the elastic. So good. So there you go. There's one of the looks for today. This is the Faux Hawk pull-through braid. And we started ours in front, just to recap, and then went through. So you've got a good visual here of how it ends. This was another variation that I did. You can see where you don't have to just do one. You can actually do a few of them. And what I did is this look started with a side part, and then we went through and we did basically the same technique on one side and obviously the other side. I started with a triangle parting up there and then went through. And what you'll see is when I connected them, I just connected the braids on the bottom and then went through and pinned them in. So it looks more like a little bit more detailed because it goes all the way around the head. Yeah, so what do you think? I like this variation. This is actually fun. You can do them in smaller parts. You can do them in just areas of the head, or you can do larger parts. Okay, so what questions do you have? Okay, so moving right along, we're going to go to look number 2. Look number 2 is a really interesting one. I'm going to share my screen again to kind of show you where we're at. So this was the first one. We prepped and we went through this. The next one, the horizontal breakdown, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, because when you're deciding how to start an updo, especially an updo where you feel like it's confusing or you're not sure to begin at the top or the bottom or the sides, here's what I'll tell you. There are a lot of similarities between flower arrangements. If you've ever seen a flower or a florist at work, you'll know that they always start with the middle of the flower arrangement and they work their way out. And if you've ever had time to spend watching a florist work, a true flower artist, they love to start at the middle, work their way out, and then they add the detail. And updos are very similar, especially, you know, wedding updos and stuff like that, because you have to build a base, you have to build a solid foundation, right? Sometimes building that foundation is really the key to making that updo work. So it's about the prep and it's about the tools that you use to get to it. So when you build an updo, think about starting at the crown and the back, because if you do that, if you start here, your crown and back, and then work to the side and the nape, and then do the top last, you'll probably see a lot more success than if you start at the top and work your way down. So again, that's just a hot tip, just taking it from other, you know, people that I know who work in some of those industries, especially, you know, the beauty industry or the floral industry. So after that is I want to watch you as well as there's another alternative. I love that. So the romantic supers, here we go. Here's look number 2, the romantic alternated up twist. These are great. This is actually a really great and easy look. And sometimes it looks more complicated, but I'm going to share with you some tricks to help you kind of take this and from a totally straight, simple, long hairstyle, and it's actually very quick. So I'm going to show you a few things if you want to get your mannequin ready and take out your elastics that you just used. What we'll do is we'll get ready and do this next. So I have another mannequin here where I think we're going to use her. She was prepped with pillow-proof and satin wear. So those are both heat resistant, heat protection. And satin wear gives it a little bit of silkiness, so it has some softness to it. Now, if you find that you have hair that's too soft and you feel like it's going to separate too much or be too flat, what you can do is use the Samvia texture iron. I'll show you a little bit with this mannequin later, but as you can see up close, do you see that it's almost like a little bit of like a crimpy feel, but it's a texture. And what I did is I took the texture iron and I went through on this set of this mannequin, I went through and created texture so it would be easier to do the style. Sometimes if the hair's too silky or too smooth, you can't really create the look that you want very easily, and it makes it harder, you know, and it's more about working smarter, not harder. So prep is a big part of this. So the more you learn about prepping your mannequin correctly, the easier your work will actually be when you finally get to do that next look. So, okay, so now with this one, what we're going to do is take a section in her crown. So we're going to take a round section from her recession point. We'll bring it back to the crown. And what I'll do is I'll show you from the back how this actually is going to work. And again, we're going to be using our elastics, maybe a few hairpins, but not a whole lot of tools. You know, we're not going to get to the end of these updos and have, you know, this amazing tower of bobby pins where if you take out the wrong one, it all like collapses down, right? I feel like knowing how to do these bridal looks and these updo looks are so important for hairstylists because, you know, when your guest comes to you and it's their biggest day of their life and their special day, you know, you want to be able to be able to help them and have a great experience, you know, with less stress and less pressure and less, you know, anxiety over all this. Okay, so here we go. So I have my section at the top. I've prepped this hair just with a light waving iron. You can see there, it's not real curly or anything. It's just a little bit of a light wave. So we've already shown you the picture of what we're going for. And so we visualized it, right? Now we've prepped it and now we're going to execute it. So what I do is I take the first section and with both pieces, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist them like this. You can see where We'll start to twist together. And then what I'm going to do is take an elastic and connect those twists. So we'll do black elastics this time so that I'll try to hide it because she's more brunette. If you find that your twists untwist at all, what you can do is take it and kind of topsy tail it. And by topsy tail, I mean make a hole, pop it through, and give it a little bit more of that twistiness, right? But on the first one especially, you just want to get your twist in there. So you've got some of this, and you can take, you know, the top, and you can kind of pull it out a tiny bit. But you'll do a lot more work along the way as this goes. So basically, this is how we're going to start it. So again, people stress over how to start. This is the start, though. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a section from the left and a section from the right. We're going to pull it together. Right, kind of clean it up. And again, we're going to take these two pieces and we're going to twist them. After we twist them, we're going to bring them over to the left and not bring that to the center like the other one. So you'll see here kind of what happens with the twist. So you put it together and then, oh, let me get her going the right way. And then again, if you want to create more of a twist, you just do another piece, like a little topsy tail, and just kind of pull it through. So after that's done, you'll see where you've got some texture. You can start to pull this out a little bit, and you'll see where it kind of takes shape with the way the twisting works. The next section that we're going to do, we're going to pull in towards the center from the left and pull in towards the center from the right. And then what we'll do is we'll take those sections together, just kind of smooth them out. And instead of pulling it to the left, we're actually going to pull this one to the right. So what it does is it covers the elastic that you just did from the previous section. Does that make sense? So again, you can twist them separately or you can put them together and then topsy tail them. But either way, you want to ponytail the two twists together. And we're using the black elastics since she has dark hair. And I'm trying to take about the same size sections each time I take the pieces to come across. I'm trying to take the same size sections. So again, when you're all done, it comes out a little bit more uniform looking. Start to pull this out if you want, just a little bit to kind of see where you're headed with this really pretty twisty look in the back. Okay, again, we're going to take another section below that. And this time, which side do you think we're going to go to? All right, so how are you guys doing out there? Are you able to capture this and try it with your mannequin? I hope so. So it's relatively simple. If you've set up your hair correctly and you've got a good prep and the hair is looking good to start out, then it's just a matter of combining the twists and alternating back and forth like this. We're going to do this all the way down the strand. And again, if you want to see a little bit more twist, you just pop it through like a topsy tail. Topsy tail is a tool a long time ago that was sold on an infomercial on television. So the guy probably made billions of dollars off the topsy tails. I love those. But it was basically a little plastic hook where you could pull the hair through. But as we discovered, you can do it, with your fingers. So, okay, so we're going to take section from the left, section from the right. This time we're going to cross over to the other side, combine the ponytail, elastic them together. And I tend to do the elastic closer to the head as I move down the back of the section, the back of the head. I tend to do it closer to the head instead of farther. What we don't want to do is do the elastics like way down here at the bottom. We want to keep them closer, right? And again, there's that. Now we'll take another section. I might even take part of what's hanging down from some of those top sections. If I want to keep it compact and close at the bottom of her nape, like if her look is going to be closer at the bottom, there's a few different ways you can finish this, and I'll go into it in a minute. So again, we'll twist these, bring them together, do our ponytail, our elastic. Good. If you want a little bit more twistiness, which I do on that one, I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to go through, just pull some of that out. Good. And the next piece. So then I'm going to take a piece from the back side, bring it across to the left. You got the idea, right? This is a pattern. So we're doing a left and a right. And each time we're twisting it, right, doing the topsy tail, and then pushing the ponytail up. And the last one, I'll kind of come around the back and kind of see where it's headed. And we'll take this and finish this. Now, at this point, you have some options, right? You could leave this down. Like some people will say, oh, great, I love it. I want to leave it down. Well, here, you can leave it down. You can dress it up with a nice, you know, a hair accessory at the bottom. You could also take this and wrap it here, and you could have a really pretty finished look. Now, before we do that though, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through and we're gonna pull out a little bit more, because what we wanna create is a little bit more detail, and we have the twists in there to do it. So this is, again, this is where all the creativity happens. So if you see, I'm just taking my fingernail, not like the whole piece, I'm just taking pieces of hair and literally pulling them out and doing this softer, romantic kind of feel with these twists. I'm not over pulling, I'm just pulling enough to give it a little bit of looseness, because I want the volume and I want the lift, you know, that this creates, and the texture and the loops. You see how it's starting to really come together? You'll see where it'll start to really become something. Good. And you can choose to do this a lot or a little. I think sometimes a lot is fun. We'll just go for it, right? And when you're working at home on a mannequin, or you're working in the salon on a mannequin, you're doing a virtual class, like, challenge yourself, go outside your comfort zone, try something, you know, more bold if you normally aren't as bold, you know? And then the final part to this is, what I like to do is create a little bit of, let me see here, just a little bit of, I'll take one of these hairpins, these nice, with both feet, and I'll just lift that a little bit in there. You see? We'll just lift some of that. If it's a little too loose, I'll use a bobby pin. So I take the feet and kind of connect some of the space there, and then push it into the area. You'll see when you start to connect these with hairpins or bobby pins, depending on the texture of hair you have, where it really starts to just kind of float together, where it becomes a total look. And you'll see less of the spaces in between, and it won't look so patterned. So again, you separate the loops, right? Give it a little bit of a loopiness. You can take one little piece up and just insert that bobby pin. And again, we'll lift this guy here. He's hanging down just a little bit. Put that in there. And then I go in and I do a little bit of a connection right into the center. Also, I'm just going to pull this top out a little bit as I start to see how she's turning out. I want to give it a little bit more looseness there. Good. And then I'm definitely going to want to put this here because her wedding is going to be probably a little bit more Victorian. So what I'll do again is I'll use the feet of my pin, put one in, and then also crisscross it underneath. I'll kind of go inside and give that a little bit more of an anchor with a crisscross bobby pin. And you can use, you know, a few bobby pins when you're doing your anchor. What I try to do is catch the elastic, because if you catch the elastic with your pin, then that will really help you get the security that you need. And you're going through there, right? Okay, good. I really like how this is coming out. So how's yours doing? How are you guys doing there? Let me see some of your stuff. We don't have any questions, so you guys must be doing amazing. Here's how the front is. I'll check her. If I was working in the salon, of course, I'd be looking in the mirror to get her situated from the front view, of course. I love how this is coming out. The other thing you can do is when you're doing a look like this and you want to have some impact, I would suggest is always having these in the salon, something, you know, decorative, so that you can give her a little bit of icing on the cake, I always say. And you can use the feet on here to attach some of that look. Now, I usually use 3 pieces or 5 pieces or 7 pieces. I always try to use odd numbers because odd numbers look better. Odd numbers instead of evens. So we'll just take those little diamonds and kind of push them in. Got those. We'll put a little one up here. We'll kind of bring that together. You see right in there. So I'm just going to kind of bring that together with the feet and just kind of add a diamond. See how that kind of gives a nice finished look. So yeah, if you keep these in the salon, number one, you can always have them available for whatever look you're doing, just in case someone doesn't bring their own. You know, it's always good to have these. I'm going to cover one of those bands with this too. You can, that's the other thing, you can cover the bands with these little guys. These are cute. Kind of move this up, I think. So you always want to check your balance and see, you know, for balance purposes, like how is it doing, right? I think I like that balance a little bit better. Not too symmetrical, but with a little design. Okay, so that's look number 2. Let's see how you guys, how do you like it? Is it pretty easy to do? So twist, elastic, and alternate back and forth. And then the creativity comes at the end when you want to open those twists up, connect them with pins and or add hair accessories. Good? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the final look. So, and then we'll do a recap and we should be done on time. So I'm going to put her aside and show you something really cool because I love this. I actually love this technique. I learned this from a girl who works for Sam Villa. Her name is Anna. And she did an amazing class while we were all staying at home. And I learned this technique from her and I've loved it. So I've been passing it on to others. I just want to make sure she gets the credit. Anna from Sam Villa did it. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to part the client's hair after I've prepped her. Okay, so I've prepped her with some texture spray, this one's my favorite. It's called Triple Dry 15. So I prepped her with this. I also used the texture iron, like I told you, from Sam Villa, so that she has a little bit of texture to her hair. It's not too soft. Now I want to make sure that all the tangles are combed out. So once all the tangles are combed out, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the first section. And the first section is going to be here. And I want to show you what the final look is, because we always want to do three things. We want to visualize, then we want to prep, and then we want to execute, right? So let me share my screen with you so I can show you the visualized part. So we just finished this one. This was the romantic alternated up twist. How does that, doesn't that look different now that you've actually gone through the motions of it? Yeah, that one's, I love that one. Now this is going to be the 3-section rope braid updo. This, I'm sorry that the picture is a little bit blurry, but you get the idea here. This is fantastic. I don't know how many of you do rope braids, but you'll get it in a second when I kind of show you how it works. And I love this technique because oftentimes when we're doing a rope braid, right, what we'll do is we'll have like 2 pieces of hair and we'll twist them, right? And even if we twist the pieces and then twist the 2 sections, oftentimes what happens is when we go to put it somewhere, it separates and it gets kind of lazy. And then what you end up with is something that looks more like that instead of with the texture, and it doesn't really hold. And then you have like spaces and you can have like empty holes and stuff in your twist. So in order to prevent that, there's a different way of twisting. So I want to make sure you really get this. So I want to get close enough to see. What we're going to do is take this section. So her section's from the top of the head to the top of the ear, right? High point of the head to the back of the ear. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this section in a diagonal way, okay? And then what I'm going to do, so I'm going to make sure I don't have any tangles in the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand in the direction that I want my braid to go. So if I'm doing a style or a look, and I know that I want that braid or rope or twist to go that way, then I'm not going to stand here and do it. I'm actually going to go to the other side. And then this way, it looks so much better when it's done, and it's a lot easier. So again, so here's my girl. And what I'm doing is I'm standing where I want the braid to go, so in this direction. So I'll take the hair and I've split it into 2 pieces. And what we're going to be doing is working with 3 pieces. We'll actually be working with 3 pieces of hair. So here's what happens. We have the top one and we have the bottom one. So the bottom one, I'm going to split with my finger and put my thumb through. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift it on top, grab that piece that I just put through, which is the top piece, and this one becomes the new top piece, and these get joined together. I'll show you again. So I take the underneath section, and I'm going to put my finger up in it while I'm holding it. Use my thumb, split it, I'm still holding it. Take that top piece into it, do a little twist, and that top one becomes my new top piece, right? And the bottom 2, they get joined together. So I'll do it again. I'm holding it pretty close to where the twist is. Put my finger in, create an opening, right? I'm still holding on to it with my right hand. Attach that and just twist. And that becomes the new front top braid. So what happens is each time that I split it and pull this into it, it's actually creating a new connection, so it's not all the same, right? So whenever I put my finger, so I have my 2 pieces, my finger through the middle, create an opening, grab the front section, turn it over, and take the piece that pops out the front. And then I combine these underneath too. Okay, so what you have is something that looks like a rope braid, but it's a little bit more confused and a little bit more like almost knotted together so that you don't have that separation. So again, I'm going to take this back piece, which is the 2 that became 1, put my finger in through a different part every time, thumb in, turn it over. When I grab it, whatever's on top becomes the new front piece, right? And again, the bottom 2, connect, put it in and then over. Come through with my finger. I'll go a little bit faster now so I can get to the end part, right? And after you practice this a bit, you'll get the hang of it. So how's it going out there? Has anybody tried it? How are you doing with this? You can ask a question or ask me to stop if you need. And we can go through. Okay, so then when I get to the bottom, there's a few options that I have. I think what I'm going to do though is I'll take my elastic and just connect it. Now normally when you have a twist and you do this, it'll come unraveled, but this one won't. The next part is really important. What I'll do is I'll take this twist and I'm going to take like one of the sections, the middle hairs, right? I'm going to hold it and I'm going to push that elastic up. See how it just kind of regathers? And then I'm going to pull it back a little bit. You see how that's created like a really pretty, fun, twisty thing, right? And then I'm going to leave that and go work on my next section. So this one's pretty much done. Once I'm done with that one, I'll go do the other side. So again, I'll stand on the direction that I want to what? Stand in the direction that I want to have where the braid is going, right? So I'm going to take a section on the right, from the high point of the head to the ear. Just make sure all the tangles are out. And then I'll separate the hair. And I'm going to do a diagonal section. You can see there, because what it'll do is it'll hide any of the partings and twistings and stuff. Okay, so first thing I do, separate the bottom, open it up. I'm going to do this with my left hand. So this side's a little bit more tricky because if you understand the concept of it, it'll work for you, but you'll have to still understand the concept. So again, so I switched hands. I have my left hand on the bigger part, which is the 2. I'm going to put my finger up inside, do a split, turn it over, take the top pieces, the new front section, and then combine the bottom and regrip. Put the split. Okay. Again, with my left hand, I've got the 2 pieces. I'm going to use this to split, open, turn, grab. The top becomes the new piece. And this is the same thing we did on the other side. I just want to make sure you guys know that I changed hands. If you want to figure out how to do it with your other hand, it might take a little bit of practice, but I feel like this, if anything, it helps a hairdresser learn to be a little bit more ambidextrous, which means using both hands. And it takes a little bit of practice, but once you can get the left hand talking like the right hand, sometimes it's a little easier. Again, I'll split, turn it over. I have to think more about it on this side, I will say. It's definitely more of a mental game to make sure I split, grab while I'm still holding on, insert, and really it's just that top piece and then these bottom 2 combine and I regrip. So split, combine, turn, combine, split, add in, turn, grab the front, combine. Once I get to the bottom of this twist, I'll be able to take an elastic, do a little tying it together, and then I'll do my push part. So that's when really the magic happens, right, is during the push part. So what I do is I take, just look here, I take like just one random piece from the middle and I hang on to it pretty tight and I push that band up the hair strand. See, there's my middle piece that I had. And push it up, because what it does is it kind of regathers all those pieces. Let me see, let me take another one. Let me push it all the way up. And then when I push it up and it looks kind of bunchy, then I pull it back just a little bit. Then what I can do is I can pull some more of these out, right? Give a little detail and have some of that frothiness and that fun look. Okay, good. So now we have both. The back one, we're going to do all as one. So again, this is 3 sections, right? It goes all the way through. So for the sake of time, I'm just going to quickly go through this one. So I'm going to do it in the same direction as, because we're in the back middle, it's just going to be straight down. So I've got my bottom piece. I've got a hold of it. I'm going to go like this, combine, twist. I've got my bottom piece that are doubled. I'm going to put it in, open it up, combine, twist. Again, lift my bottom piece, split, combine, grab, turn. Split, open, combine, turn. Always grabbing the top piece as my new piece after it turns. So split, open, combine, turn, open, combine, turn. We'll go salon speed now so that you can kind of see the way this finishes. So the way this finishes is same idea with this one, is you'll get a good idea where this goes. So we've got the elastic here, which is pretty tight. Then we're going to take that and grab the center piece, give it a little bit of bunchiness, and then pull it back a little bit and go in and do a little bit of pull through work. At this point, we've got all 3 twists. So what we can do is create something from these, right? So this is where your creativity will shine. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll go across here, right, first, and give that a little security. And I keep these longer bobby pins on here, especially for the longer hair, right? And then I'll come across here with the other one, just taking into account like how much I want to twist and bring this back, right? And you can hide the tails by just kind of bending them under before you pin. Hide them and they'll just kind of get lost in there, which is nice. And then I keep my pins on a magnetic bracelet because these things are great, especially when you don't have an assistant, or if you don't have anything nearby or you're at a photo shoot, you want to have like some magnetic bracelet. This is from Redken, but these are really nice because then you have, you always have pins available to you, you know, close by. So again, you want to do something that gives it a little bit of security, kind of go up in there. Right, I'll use a couple of these to kind of crisscross through. But not a lot of pins because the twisting did a lot of the work for us, you see. The twisting actually made this possible. The twisting is the key. And then take some of this through here. Sometimes I grab part of the other one, you know. Yeah, so it's looking good. So then when you are ready and you feel like you've got, you know, some of your look that you were going for, then kind of step back and take out fresh eyes, because it gets a little bit hard when you're like right in the center all the time. Like step back and take a look at the balance. So when I step back and I look, I'm going to just check the form, right, of the crown, pull some of these little guys out. I would use a little bit more hairspray, right? Just kind of pull some of these guys out, right? And this gives you a really easy way to do a romantic, fun, super fun updo look. What do you think? Yeah, I like it. So if you have the vines and you use these vines, this would probably be a good time to use one. If you wanted to use something, you know, kind of fun and intricate. I don't know what your updos ask for, but you could always just use a vine, and you can pin these in, and sometimes the vines come with like, they're really flexible, so that you can then go in and use a little bit of a hairpin action with the vine. So then you can take the pins invisibly and I just do a little U-turn and then I adjust them. So I'll put it in, go down, and maybe do a U-turn and then go up. And that helps combine them. Or if you have other, you know, pearls, I like to use pearls. Pearls are always good. Depends on what the jewelry is that they're wearing too. You know, you always want to ask what jewelry are they wearing or what's their plan for, you know, their accessories. What do they have an accessory plan? Sometimes they don't, and you can really help them do that. Again, I'll use 3 instead of 2. So you get the idea here with this girl. So that's the final one. And it looks like we're out of time. So I just wanted to give you a final look that you could do. We were able to squeeze in 3 today, which is good. So I hope this helps you have a better feeling that you can practice with some easy to do styles and techniques, because these techniques aren't about creating just this look. Would you agree that the techniques are really about something that you can adopt, take it, practice it, and turn it into your own creation too, right? So again, so we used, this one was the triple 3-section twist, right? These are 3-section rope twist. The other one was the pull through braid, but it's really not a braid, right? It's more of a ponytail. You don't even have to know how to braid to do these. And with the bonus of knowing how to kind of pull the hair through and hide that little ponytail holder. And then the other one was the multiple twist. So this was the twist, multiple twisted updo. So you see the difference between the 3. So good. So I hope that helped you. To contact me, you can reach me at Lori at lorifudens.com is my email, or in Instagram, Lori Fudens Redken Artist. And I would just like to end with letting you know that you can tag me in any of your updos that you do. I'd love to see them, because I love helping people, you know, learn better and get something from these classes. So anyway, I just want to thank you for being in this class, and also let me know if you would like more of this, or if there's other classes that you would like to see from us. We're here from Redken to help you earn better and live better and have an amazing, better life. Thank you so much.